The concept of the seven seals has intrigued theologians, mystics, and scholars for centuries. It is a mysterious element found within the book of Revelation in the Bible, and each seal symbolizes the unfolding of divine judgment upon the world. The seal's cryptic nature, intertwined with esoteric symbolism, invites interpretations that range from literal to allegorical, offering a wide scope for understanding prophecy, spirituality, and the future of humanity. The seven seals are said to be affixed to a scroll that only the Lamb of God, representing Jesus Christ, is worthy to open. As each seal is broken, a corresponding event occurs, revealing the fate of humanity and the eventual establishment of God's kingdom. This narrative has fascinated readers and led to countless interpretations, each with its own perspective on the significance of the seals. In many interpretations, the opening of the seals represents stages of tribulation that mankind will experience before the second coming of Christ. The notion of tribulation, suffering, chaos, and upheaval, serves as a form of divine judgment, suggesting that these events will occur on a global scale, affecting all nations and peoples. However, beyond their surface meanings, the seven seals hold deeper spiritual truths that point toward an understanding of the cosmic order and the divine plan for humanity. The first four seals are particularly well known, often referred to as the four horsemen of the apocalypse. These horsemen represent conquest, war, famine, and death, universal themes that echo through human history. Their relevance extends beyond religious texts and into cultural, social, and political realms. Whether viewed through a spiritual lens or as metaphorical representations of humanity's enduring struggles, the horsemen bring forth a picture of humanity's continual confrontation with suffering and destruction. The first seal introduces a rider on a white horse, often interpreted as conquest or victory. This figure is sometimes seen as a messianic leader or a symbol of deceptive peace. In the ancient world, the color white was associated with purity and triumph. But in this case, it may also represent the guise of false peace that precedes war and devastation. The ambiguity of this rider's identity has spurred debates. Is this figure Christ, a conquering king, or a malevolent force that heralds the end times? The second seal opens to reveal a rider on a red horse, symbolizing war and bloodshed. The imagery of a red horse evokes the violence and destruction that follows the first rider. This figure wields a sword and is granted the power to take peace from the earth. War, historically and symbolically, has been one of the greatest scourges of humanity, and this seal embodies the destructive nature of armed conflict. Some interpretations suggest that this represents a specific period of war that will engulf the entire world, while others see it as an ongoing reality, reflecting the constant state of conflict in human history. The third seal introduces a rider on a black horse, symbolizing famine. In the rider's hand is a pair of scales, often associated with the rationing of food. This reflects the economic imbalance that follows war, as scarcity and inflation drive suffering and hunger. Famine, both literal and figurative, is a recurring theme in human civilization, particularly following periods of warfare and political instability. The scales may also signify the divine judgment on humanity's exploitation of resources, pointing to the consequences of greed and injustice. The fourth seal reveals a pale horse, whose rider is death, and Hades follows close behind. The pale color of the horse symbolizes sickness and mortality. This is perhaps the most chilling of the horsemen, as death is an inevitable reality for all beings. The fact that Hades, or the grave, follows the rider underscores the finality of death. This seal represents the culmination of the previous rider's work. Conquest, war, and famine lead to widespread death. Yet, it also suggests that these events are part of a divine plan, a necessary purification before the establishment of a new order. Beyond the first four seals, the remaining three continue to unravel the mysteries of divine judgment. The fifth seal introduces the souls of martyrs, those who have died for their faith, crying out for justice. Their plea symbolizes the age-old human desire for retribution and justice, particularly for those who have suffered at the hands of oppressive powers. The cry for vengeance raises deep questions about the nature of divine justice and the relationship between human suffering and cosmic order. The seal does not immediately bring about vengeance, but instead the martyrs are told to wait until their numbers are complete, suggesting that suffering is part of a greater divine plan. The sixth seal brings forth cataclysmic natural disasters: earthquakes, the darkening of the sun, the falling of stars, and the removal of the sky itself. These phenomena are often interpreted as signs of the end times, signaling the beginning of the final judgment. Such imagery has parallels in various religious traditions, where natural upheavals mark the end of an era and the start of a new one. The sixth seal speaks to the fragility of the natural world and the cosmic shifts that occur when divine intervention is at hand. The seventh seal is the most enigmatic of all, as its opening leads to silence in heaven for half an hour. This silence can be interpreted in numerous ways. Some see it as the calm before the storm, a moment of divine reflection before the final outpouring of judgment. Others interpret it as a symbolic pause, allowing for the transition from judgment to salvation. The silence itself is pregnant with meaning, suggesting that divine mysteries are not easily comprehended by human minds. It serves as a powerful reminder of the ultimate unknowability of God's plan. Each of the seven seals, though rooted in Christian eschatology, contains universal themes that resonate across cultures and time periods. The struggle between good and evil, the inevitability of suffering, and the hope for redemption are themes that transcend any single religious tradition. In many ways, the seals represent a spiritual journey, with each seal offering a new layer of insight into the human condition and the divine plan. Some interpretations suggest that the seven seals symbolize stages of spiritual awakening or enlightenment. The breaking of each seal represents a deeper understanding of the divine and the mysteries of existence. In this reading, the seals are not merely harbingers of doom but also steps towards spiritual transformation. They force humanity to confront its deepest fears, conquest, war, famine, death, and move through them toward a higher understanding. The seven seals also speak to the tension between predestination and free will. On one hand, the events that unfold as the seals are opened seem inevitable, as though they are part of a preordained plan that cannot be altered. On the other hand, the seals may also be seen as warnings, offering humanity the chance to change its course before it is too late. This duality reflects the ongoing human struggle with the concepts of fate and choice, a struggle that has been explored in countless philosophical and theological debates. In addition to their theological significance, the seven seals have inspired artistic, literary, and cinematic works throughout history. Their potent symbolism and the dramatic nature of their revelations have made them a powerful narrative device. From medieval depictions in illuminated manuscripts to modern apocalyptic films, the seals continue to captivate the imagination. They serve as a reminder that the mysteries of existence, life, death, suffering, and salvation, are timeless and universal. In understanding the seven seals, one must grapple with the complex interplay of symbolism, prophecy, and metaphor. Whether viewed as literal events that will unfold at the end of time or as allegorical representations of humanity's spiritual journey, the seals offer profound insights into the nature of existence. They challenge the reader to confront difficult truths about suffering, judgment, and the unknown, while also offering a glimpse of hope in the promise of redemption. The future, as revealed through the seven seals, is not simply a tale of destruction but also one of renewal. The seals suggest that through tribulation comes transformation, and through judgment comes justice. The breaking of the seals may bring about great suffering, but it also paves the way for the establishment of a new world, where divine order and justice reign supreme. This paradox, that destruction is necessary for renewal, lies at the heart of the seven seals mystery and continues to inspire reflection on the nature of the future. As we move beyond the initial descriptions of the seven seals and delve deeper into their esoteric meanings, it is essential to examine the broader symbolic and spiritual interpretations that transcend the immediate narrative of judgment and revelation. While the seals, on the surface, appear to chronicle a series of catastrophic events, many scholars and mystics argue that they also contain a hidden spiritual code, offering insights into the evolution of consciousness, the nature of divine justice, and the ultimate destiny of humanity. The seven seals can be understood not only as a progression of events but also as stages of spiritual initiation. In this context, the breaking of each seal represents the unveiling of deeper spiritual truths, which guide individuals through a transformative process. This perspective views the seals as an allegorical journey of the soul, where each event symbolizes a confrontation with the darker aspects of existence, ultimately leading to spiritual awakening. In many mystical traditions, the journey of the soul is one of gradual awakening to higher truths, often through trials, challenges, and suffering. The seals, when viewed through this lens, are not merely predictions of future events but a roadmap for spiritual growth. Each seal represents a different aspect of the human condition, and the breaking of each one unveils a deeper layer of understanding. This interpretation shifts the focus from an external apocalyptic event to an internal process of transformation, where the soul is purified through the fire of tribulation. This notion of spiritual awakening through trials is echoed in various religious and esoteric traditions. For example, in alchemy, the process of turning base metals into gold is symbolic of the transformation of the human soul. The stages of alchemical transformation, Nigredo, blackening, Albedo, whitening, and Rubedo, reddening, parallel the themes found in the seven seals: destruction, purification, and eventual enlightenment. Just as the alchemist must endure the fire of transformation to achieve the philosopher's stone, so too must the soul pass through the trials of the seals to reach spiritual enlightenment. In this sense, the seals can be seen as an initiatory path, where the breaking of each seal represents a moment of illumination. The horsemen, rather than simply harbingers of doom, become symbols of the obstacles the soul must overcome on its journey toward divine union. Conquest, war, famine, and death are not only external realities but internal struggles that the seeker must confront and transcend. This inner alchemy transforms suffering into wisdom, leading to a deeper understanding of the divine mysteries. The imagery of the seals also resonates with the concept of the cosmic cycle, a recurring theme in many religious and philosophical systems. In Hinduism, for example, the idea of the yugas describes the cyclical nature of time, where humanity progresses through four ages: Satya Yuga, the age of truth; Treta Yuga, Dvapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga, the age of darkness. Each age represents a decline in spiritual awareness and an increase in chaos, much like the progression of the seals in the Book of Revelation. The breaking of the seals can thus be seen as a reflection of this cosmic cycle, where periods of destruction and chaos are followed by renewal and rebirth. Similarly, in the ancient Greek concept of the Great Year, the universe passes through cycles of creation and destruction, known as the ages of gold, silver, bronze, and iron. Each age represents a decline in human virtue and the eventual need for divine intervention to restore cosmic order. The seals, when interpreted in this way, align with these cycles of decline and renewal, suggesting that the events they describe are part of a larger cosmic pattern that governs not only the fate of humanity but the entire universe. The notion of cosmic cycles also ties into the idea of karma, which holds that the actions of individuals and societies accumulate over time, creating consequences that must be faced in future lifetimes or eras. The seals, in this context, can be seen as the manifestation of collective karma. Humanity's past actions have set in motion the events that will ultimately lead to judgment and transformation. This understanding of the seals places responsibility on humanity for the suffering and chaos they bring, while also offering the possibility of redemption through spiritual growth and collective awakening. Moreover, the seals invite us to consider the relationship between the material and spiritual realms. In many mystical traditions, the physical world is seen as a reflection of the spiritual, where events in the material plane mirror the dynamics of the divine. The seals, in this light, are not just events that unfold in the external world but manifestations of deeper spiritual realities. Each seal represents a breakdown of the old order, both materially and spiritually, making way for the emergence of a new, more harmonious reality. This perspective also aligns with the concept of eschatology, the study of the ultimate destiny of humanity and the world. In Christian eschatology, the events described in the Book of Revelation are often seen as literal predictions of the end times, but they can also be interpreted symbolically as the culmination of humanity's spiritual journey. The breaking of the seals, in this view, represents not just the end of the physical world but the end of a particular phase in human consciousness. The apocalypse, or unveiling, is not solely a destructive force but a revelation of divine truth, leading to the birth of a new era of enlightenment. In the Kabbalistic tradition, the idea of the seven seals can be linked to the concept of the tree of life, a symbolic diagram that represents the various levels of existence, from the physical to the divine. Each sphere on the tree of life corresponds to a different aspect of reality, and the journey of the soul involves ascending through these spheres to reach union with the divine. The seals, when viewed through this lens, correspond to different stages of spiritual ascent, where the breaking of each seal allows the soul to access higher levels of understanding and divine wisdom. This interpretation suggests that the seals are not just events to be feared but opportunities for spiritual growth. The chaos and destruction they bring are necessary for the purification of the soul and the eventual realization of divine truth. In this way, the seals represent a journey of transformation, where the soul is tested and refined, much like gold is purified in the fire. Furthermore, the seals invite reflection on the nature of divine justice. The events they describe, war, famine, death, are often seen as punishments for humanity's sins, but they can also be understood as part of a larger divine plan for restoration. In many religious traditions, suffering is viewed as a necessary part of the human experience, a means through which individuals and societies are purified and brought closer to the divine. The seals, in this context, are not merely judgments but acts of divine mercy, designed to bring about the ultimate redemption of humanity. This understanding of the seals as both judgment and mercy is central to many interpretations of the Book of Revelation. While the events they describe are undeniably catastrophic, they also pave the way for the establishment of a new divinely ordained order. The seals in this sense serve as a necessary purging of the old world to make way for the new. This process of destruction and renewal is a recurring theme in many religious traditions, where the end of one age leads to the beginning of another. The seven seals therefore can be seen as a symbolic representation of the human condition, our struggles, our suffering, and our ultimate quest for redemption. They invite us to reflect on the nature of existence, the role of suffering in spiritual growth, and the possibility of transformation through divine intervention. While their meaning may be shrouded in mystery, they offer a profound commentary on the journey of the soul and the destiny of humanity. As we conclude our exploration of the seven seals, it is important to consider their broader implications, not just within the context of religious prophecy, but in terms of their potential philosophical and existential meaning. The seals represent more than a linear sequence of divine events. They open up possibilities for interpreting the nature of time, human agency, and the future. By examining these aspects, we can uncover how the seven seals serve as an allegory for the profound mysteries of existence and the human condition. The seven seals, as described in the Book of Revelation, are often interpreted as part of an inevitable divine timeline, events that must unfold before the culmination of history. However, another interpretation suggests that the seals reflect not a predetermined future but rather the potential outcomes of humanity's choices and actions. In this view, the seals serve as both warnings and opportunities, encouraging humanity to recognize its own role in shaping its future. The seals can thus be understood as mirrors reflecting the collective consciousness of humanity, where the opening of each seal corresponds to pivotal moments in human history. This concept challenges the traditional linear perception of time that is often associated with prophetic texts. Instead, it aligns with more cyclical or multidimensional understandings of time found in mystical and philosophical traditions. For example, many esoteric teachings suggest that time is not a straight line but a spiral, where events repeat in different forms as humanity evolves. The seals, in this interpretation, are not confined to a single moment in history but represent recurring archetypes that manifest whenever humanity reaches critical junctures. The four horsemen, for instance, are not just confined to a future apocalypse but symbolize recurring forces, conquest, war, famine, and death, that humanity encounters throughout history. This cyclical interpretation of the seals also resonates with the idea of parallel realities or timelines. In some metaphysical theories, there are multiple potential futures that exist simultaneously, and the choices made by individuals and societies determine which future will unfold. The seals, from this perspective, may represent different potential outcomes that could manifest based on the collective actions of humanity. This adds a layer of complexity to the notion of prophecy, suggesting that the future is not set in stone but is instead shaped by human free will and divine guidance. The interplay between free will and divine sovereignty is a central theme in many interpretations of the seven seals. On one hand, the seals suggest a divine plan that will unfold according to a predetermined sequence, regardless of human actions. On the other hand, the seals also invite reflection on the power of human agency. The events they describe, conquest, war, famine, death, and natural disasters, are not merely acts of divine judgment but consequences of human behavior. In this sense, the seals offer a call to repentance and transformation, reminding humanity of the power it holds to shape its own destiny. This tension between predestination and free will is not unique to the seven seals but is a recurring theme in many religious and philosophical traditions. In Christianity, for example, the question of how divine providence interacts with human freedom has been the subject of centuries of theological debate. Some theologians argue that God has foreordained all events, while others assert that humans have the power to influence their future through their choices. The seven seals in this context can be seen as a reflection of this tension, where divine judgment is both a response to human actions and a part of a larger cosmic plan. Another intriguing aspect of the seven seals is the role of symbolism in conveying spiritual truths. Each seal, particularly the four horsemen, embodies rich symbolic meanings that transcend their literal descriptions. The white horse, for instance, is often associated with conquest, but it can also symbolize the pursuit of knowledge, spiritual enlightenment, or even deception, depending on the interpretation. The red horse represents war, but it can also symbolize the internal battles individuals face in their quest for spiritual growth. The black horse, symbolizing famine, can be seen as a representation of material scarcity but also as a metaphor for spiritual hunger. The pale horse, representing death, invites reflection on the inevitability of mortality and the role of death as a gateway to transformation. These symbolic interpretations highlight the power of metaphor in religious and spiritual texts. The seals, while often viewed as literal events, can also be seen as metaphors for the inner struggles and transformations that individuals and societies undergo. This metaphorical reading invites a more personal engagement with the text, encouraging readers to reflect on how the themes of conquest, war, famine, and death play out in their own lives. The seals, in this sense, become tools for spiritual reflection and growth, offering insights into the human condition and the path to enlightenment. The symbolic nature of the seals also invites comparisons to other mystical and esoteric traditions. In the Kabbalistic tradition, for example, the breaking of the seals can be compared to the process of tikkun or cosmic repair, where the fragments of divine light scattered throughout creation are gathered and restored to their original unity. Each seal, when broken, represents a stage in this process of cosmic restoration, where the chaos unleashed by human actions is ultimately healed through divine intervention. Similarly, in alchemical traditions, the breaking of the seals can be seen as stages of transformation, where the soul is purified and refined through the trials of fire, leading to the ultimate goal of spiritual enlightenment. The seals also invite reflection on the nature of divine justice. The events described in the Book of Revelation are often seen as punishments for humanity's sins, but they can also be understood as part of a larger process of cosmic balance. In many religious traditions, justice is not simply about retribution but about restoring harmony to the universe. The seals, in this context, represent the rebalancing of the cosmic scales, where the consequences of human actions are brought into alignment with divine law. This understanding of justice as balance is central to many mystical traditions, where the goal is not to punish but to restore harmony and order to the cosmos. This notion of cosmic balance is also reflected in the concept of karma, where the actions of individuals and societies create consequences that must be faced in future lifetimes or eras. The seals, when viewed through the lens of karma, represent the unfolding of these consequences on a global scale. The events described in the seals are not arbitrary punishments but the natural result of humanity's collective actions. This understanding of the seals places responsibility on humanity for the suffering and chaos they bring, while also offering the possibility of redemption through spiritual growth and collective awakening. Another dimension of the seven seals that warrants exploration is their relationship to the concept of apocalyptic literature. The Book of Revelation, where the seals are found, is a prime example of this genre, which is characterized by visions of the end times, cosmic battles, and the ultimate triumph of good over evil. Apocalyptic literature is often written during times of crisis, when societies are facing turmoil and uncertainty. The seven seals in this context can be seen as a reflection of the anxieties and fears of the time in which they were written, offering hope that, despite the chaos and destruction, divine justice will ultimately prevail. Apocalyptic literature also serves as a vehicle for unveiling hidden truths, which is the literal meaning of the word apocalypse. The seals, when understood in this way, are not just a revelation of future events but a disclosure of deeper spiritual realities. They pull back the veil on the material world, revealing the cosmic forces at work behind the scenes. This unveiling invites readers to see beyond the surface of events and to recognize the underlying spiritual dynamics that shape human history. In modern times, the seven seals continue to captivate the imagination, not just in religious circles but also in popular culture. From films to books to music, the imagery of the four horsemen and the breaking of the seals has been used to explore themes of apocalypse, transformation, and redemption. This ongoing fascination with the seals speaks to their enduring relevance as symbols of both destruction and renewal. They remind us that even in the face of overwhelming chaos, there is the possibility of a new beginning, where the old order is swept away and a new, more just and harmonious world can emerge. The seals also raise profound questions about the nature of the future. Are the events they describe inevitable, or can humanity alter its course? Are they a reflection of divine judgment, or are they warnings that offer the possibility of repentance and transformation? These questions invite readers to engage with the seals not just as passive observers but as active participants in the unfolding of history. The seals challenge us to consider how our actions, both individually and collectively, shape the world and its future. In conclusion, the seven seals offer a rich tapestry of symbolism, spiritual insight, and philosophical reflection. They challenge us to confront the darker aspects of existence while also offering hope for renewal and transformation. Whether viewed as literal events, metaphors for spiritual growth, or reflections of cosmic cycles, The seals invite us to explore the mysteries of the divine and the human condition. They remind us that even in the midst of chaos and destruction, there is the potential for a new beginning, where the forces of light and darkness are brought into balance and harmony is restored to the universe.